Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. While I hit the go live button everywhere, you know the drill, right? All right, so give me just a second getting everything set up. All right, and one more. Oh, what the heck? All right, well, here we go. Let me pull this up on my phone to make sure that it's actually live. It's really weird. Sometimes it says it's live and then it is not. So give me a second. Where is it at? Here we go. So maybe we're not live. So bear with me just a moment. Oh my gosh, things just keep popping in. All right, I guess we are live, so hold on. Okay. Oof, that was tough. Well, not really tough. It can be kind of intimidating sometimes to be doing all this stuff trying to figure it out, right? And you may feel that too, or maybe not. We shall see. But today, I'm so glad to be here with you guys. And for those that don't know, because I am streaming this out in some different places. My name is Vicki Poole, and I'm actually a hypnotist and a business coach. And it is becoming so fun to dive into different things with a lot of clients and people that I talk to. And so as I'm doing my morning lives, and on my Monday morning live, I really was touched yesterday. Christine and I did a live in some different places, and because we've got a workshop coming up. But one of the things that we talked about is something that kind of really got me, and I've talked about it before, and I just really feel like it bears to be explored just a little bit more. And that's the thoughts that we think, right? Like one of my favorite books is The Untethered Soul. And he talks a lot about that voice that's in our head, what we think, what we say to ourselves. And a lot of times we talk to ourselves in a way that we would never talk to anybody else. And we would get so ticked off if somebody talked to us that way. And so it's really interesting. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that today. So your thoughts are not facts. They're stories. We often believe what we think simply because we've thought it for a long time, right? But most of those thoughts we've inherited from things that people have said. I've shared a story before, and I'll just share it really quick. When I was married to my first husband, I was in college when we met, and I quit college, got married, and then I was going to art school. I ended up quitting that and doing something else. And one of the things when he and I got divorced, that he said in the courtroom was that I never finish anything. But the interesting thing is that wasn't the first time I'd heard that. The first time I heard that was when I was about to go to college. And my father and I had gone to visit my grandmother, his mother, and we weren't real close. I called her by her first name. I didn't call her my grandmother, mama, or any of those things. I actually called her by her first name. But when we were there, my dad was really excited that I was going to college because at that point I was the first one to go to college in our family. And so he told her very excitedly that I got accepted into the college that I wanted to go to and that I would be starting, and instead of looking at me and saying, wow, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, anything like that. No, like I said, she wasn't my favorite grandmother. She looked at me and she said, I don't know why. You're not going to finish. Right? And for whatever reason, that became my truth. But was there anything at that point, had I ever given an indication that that was a fact? No, I had not. I went through high school. I was very involved in high school. I was president of the art club. I was in Who's Who. I was on the yearbook staff. I did a lot of things. Not one of them did I start and not finish. So why she said that, I don't know. But more importantly, why I took that on as my truth, I don't know, right? But from that point, because it became who I thought I was, I quit a lot of things, right? And so it's interesting. We have somebody that say something to us, and especially when you're young. Now I was 17, so I wasn't that young. But think about it. What about these kids that are in elementary school and the teacher asks a question and they raise their hand, and when the teacher calls on them to answer, they answer incorrectly and everybody laughs at them. Sometimes even the teacher can be really condescending. You should know this, or whatever it is, right? And that child suddenly becomes more of an introvert and doesn't speak up, doesn't speak out, kind of puts their head down. It can cause this perpetual thing that goes on in their lives, right? And so I want you to think about it, because a lot of times some of these thoughts are created during moments of fear. Maybe we were afraid of retribution. We were afraid of somebody laughing at us, right? So every thought we think is optional. But some of them, sorry, hold on just a second. I have some allergies going on right now. Hello over on Instagram. Thank you for being here, and join into the conversation if there's something that you have experienced when it comes to somebody saying something that ended up becoming part of your identity, like it did for me, right? So every thought is optional, but some are running your life like they're non-negotiable, right? Just think about people who say, like Christine was sharing yesterday, that she had been told that she was Calamity Jane, was what she said, which I had forgotten about the Calamity Jane thing, but it's a person that is very, very clumsy, right? And that once somebody said that about her, she started identifying as that. So, and some people identify as, just think about it, typically, traditionally, years ago, it was assumed that women couldn't do math, that women could not be scientists, they couldn't be doctors, they were not allowed to, right? And the thing is that because people said girls aren't good at math, a lot of times that became people's truth, that realized later that they were brilliant at it. right? But at the time, they didn't even try because they were told that it was not who they were, right? There's a study that was done, or an experiment, I guess it is, and I may be off on some of the information because it's just something I remembered in the moment. So I can't link you back to the study, but you could probably look it up. But there was a study that they did for, I think it was elementary school kids. I can't remember particularly, so I'll just say. But anyway, they put these teachers in the classroom, and they told them that some of these students were gifted and some of them were not so gifted, and they gave them the names and everything. And the interesting thing was the students that they were told were gifted ended up being exponentially better or getting better grades than anybody in the classroom. But what was really interesting about it was those were the students that were labeled hard to learn. And so what the teacher's expectations of these kids, thinking that they were gifted students, they treated them differently. They did different things because they thought they were gifted. And so that really, makes you think too, because if those kids had been labeled previously as not being good learners, it's because somebody had said something or treated them in a way that they weren't expected to be, and they fulfilled that. So I'd love for you to look at your life and see, is there some place in your life that you feel like you didn't really measure up to what you wanted to do or who you wanted to be at certain time, right? And if you did, I want you to look at that just a little bit differently, right? Because our old beliefs are most often are based on outdated versions of you, right? That belief that you're not good with money, that you're too much, maybe even you're not enough, chances are it's based on a version of you who didn't have the tools, the awareness, or the self-trust that you have now. And it could be that you really did, but somebody or something made you believe that that wasn't you, that wasn't a true thing, that maybe it was a fluke that you answered something, brilliantly, and you started internalizing that, that's not me, right? So maybe your thoughts need an update. You're not who you used to be, right? Let me see over here. All right, over on Instagram, I appreciate you being here. Join in the conversation if you'd like. I would love to hear your thoughts. So what we're talking about is reframing, and I'm assuming you've heard that term. It's around a lot, right? So what we're talking about is uncovering what some of those beliefs are. Like I had the belief that I didn't finish things, right? Because of that conversation that my grandmother had. And I fulfilled that over and over and over again. So at some point, as I started doing this work and everything, I realized that that's not true, because there's so many things that I have finished. But I had a guest on my podcast, and she did human design, and she did a reading for me on the podcast. And one of the things that was amazing that she told me about my human design was that I'm a manifester 1-3. What the heck that means, I don't remember. But anyway, it means that I move from thing to thing because I have this innate ability to see when it's not moving or it's not meant for me now. Doesn't mean I won't come back to it, which I do a lot of times. But I used to really give myself a hard time for not completing things because I thought, oh my gosh, there I am living out that thing still. But I've reframed it now. And reframing isn't lying, it's liberating, right? So my reframe is now I have the ability with my innate intuition to know when something is needing to be put to the side till it will work better, or I can handle it better, or I have a different audience, whatever it is. Or sometimes I have the innate ability to know that's really not my thing. I've discovered that it doesn't work for me. I don't like it, whatever it is, and I can just pivot to something else. So I reframed that I quit everything, right? And like I said, reframing is liberating. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's not about pretending that it's okay that I quit everything. It's changing the story, telling a truer story, right? So you can do that too. You can tell a truer story where you have wisdom and choice, right? So some examples that I'll give you are, hold on, let me make sure if I've got somebody asking any questions over here. Sorry. So you could go from, I always mess this up, which most of us have had a time where we felt that way, right? We can go from, I always mess this up, to I've learned through every mistake. And see, and the way I like to reframe it is it wasn't a mistake, is that when things don't work out, it was a lesson that I needed to learn to grow and become the me I wanted to be. And so I look back at things that are labeled mistakes, things I didn't do well, didn't do right, or I failed, right? Is I look at it as, what was the lesson that I learned and how can I utilize that to help myself now, right? So you reframe it. Make sense? All right. So then you could go from I'm stuck, which most of us at one point have thought, oh, why do I keep doing this again? I'm so stuck. So you can go from I'm stuck to I'm in the process of figuring this out. And one of the things when I feel like I'm stuck and I'm doing a repeating pattern, and I don't know, maybe you're not like me and you don't get into that place, but I do. And I will see something in my life and I'll think, I've done it again. Why does this keep happening, right? What is it that I need to learn from this, right? And I remind myself, it's just part of the growth process. I'm not stuck. I'm just figuring this out, right? Can you feel that? I hope you can. And then the other thing is you can interrupt this pattern that you have. This is one of the things that I do, is I interrupt it. And I started learning more about this when I was in life coaching school, health coaching, mastery coaching. It was one of the things that we really, really tapped a lot into, is about interrupting the pattern, right? So if you've got a pattern of particular thoughts that don't serve you, as soon as you notice that you're thinking those thoughts, and the thing is when we first start kind of looking and how do we do this, we can go down a little rabbit hole of not supportive thoughts. So you don't chastise yourself for that. But as soon as you notice that you're going down this, what I like to call a rabbit hole of thoughts that don't serve me, I pause and then I ask myself a question. And the thing is that when you first start doing this, you don't even realize you're going down that rabbit hole until you've really gotten deep in the hole, right? So it's a little harder to get out, but you stop it there. Every single time you do that, you're able to catch yourself a little bit faster. to where after you've been doing it for a while, if you stay, especially if you stay consistent with it, and when I say consistent, it means as soon as you notice it, you stop and ask a question, right? It doesn't mean it doesn't last long. It could last a day. I don't know. It depends on what's going on, right? But it's you're exercising that part of your brain, your psyche, your intuition to recognize it quicker and quicker and quicker. To well, at a certain point, you'll have this thought pop in your head that says, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've," and then you stop and you say, wait a minute. What am I about to say to myself? Right? So whenever a limiting thought pops up, try this. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me hostage? Another one I like to ask myself is it really true? Because sometimes our brain's desire to keep us safe will throw a roadblock into something if we feel like we're about to make this big leap, this big epiphany in our world, whether it's in our relationships and our finances, our business, whatever it is. Right before a big leap, a big success, our brain naturally wants to keep us safe. So right before that happens is when all the doubt pops in. That's when everything starts playing in your mind about all the times it didn't work. Now, let's say you're in a relationship, you've started seeing someone, and this is just one of the easier ones for me to think of, okay? So you've started seeing someone and it's going amazing, and you think, oh my gosh, this is really going good. I love these different things about this person. And you can tell that they're, reciprocal. They love the things that you do. You communicate so well. Things are going great. Well, that's when your brain will start, or your mind will start reminding you of all the people that you've dated before, that it seemed good in the beginning, but then it wasn't. Or all the stories that you've heard about when someone believed who this relationship that they were in was, and then everything went south. Or all the horror stories that you've ever heard will start coming through your mind. And then you will inadvertently start changing the way you're reacting to this person. The fear will start being there. You will start having so much self-talk that's not supportive that you'll, without even realizing, you'll start pushing that person away. Because remember, we're all energy. And once your energy shifts to that place of, ooh, danger, I need to step back, I need to protect myself, this is probably not true. That's when you actually change the relationship. It wasn't that they changed. It was that your vibration changed. And we do that all the time. We do that in business. We do that in friendships. We do that in with our money. Like the things that we think about money is actually really, really important to understand too. Because you can have all the skill in the world. You can learn everything about money, everything known to man. You can study it. You can learn about investing. You can start investing. You can start doing all these things. But if your mind feels that beyond this space, which I talk about the financial thermostat all the time, right? So if typically you've never made over $100,000 a year, and suddenly you're investing and all these things are coming at you and everything, your brain, your being is going to try to protect you, and it's going to sabotage you on that front too. So it's a very interesting thing, right? But if you feel like these thoughts are holding you hostage, if you feel like these thoughts are not supporting you, you have the ability as a human being to change those thoughts. Choose again, right? Because empowering thoughts lead to empowered action. And that's where change begins. It changes a lot when you recognize, like I said, it's a muscle that you exercise of recognizing when those thoughts are going down the rabbit hole. They're going in a place that you really doesn't serve you. You can stop and say, is that really true? Like, let's go back to the relationship thing, right? So if you are in this relationship and all of a sudden all these thoughts start going in, you can stop yourself and say, hey, wait a minute. This is a new person. Let me not put all of these other people's stories on this person, because is it really true? Do I have proof that this person is that way? No. So not to say you don't do your due diligence and start looking at people and recognizing when there's red flags, right? The thing is when you have those thoughts, a lot of times it's a safety thing for not putting yourself out there, because it's an old story that doesn't serve you. So I'm just asking you to stop for a moment when something comes up in your mind, when there's no actual evidence of it, and just ask, is that true? Right? And you may find out later that maybe they're not trustworthy, but that comes from you being open and exploring, right? I've got stories to tell you about that, I'll tell you. All right, so I want to get to today's affirmation, and I'll put it in the, hold on a second. I'll put it in the let me see if I can get it in there. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me get to my notes. All right, affirmation. Let's see if I can get this and put it up. Mm-hmm. So the affirmation is, I choose thoughts that support who I am becoming, right? So let me put it up here. Let's see if I can. There we go. There we go. I choose thoughts that support who I'm becoming. Because remember, our thoughts become things, right? And, with that said, I feel like the things that you look for, you find. So if you're looking for a reason that something doesn't work, whether that's a relationship, a business, going to an event, anything, if you're looking for a reason it won't work, you'll find one. And so that's why we really want to be supporting ourselves with our thoughts, right? So I choose thoughts that support who I am becoming. All right. And then our journal prompt is, what is one old belief I'm ready to retire? Now, to me, I can almost think once you've done one belief, then you might want to open it up to do another one, because we are like the proverbial onion, and we're layers. So that's one of the things that when I work with clients, whether it's just in coaching or hypnosis, the thing is that we work on one thing, we can get that thing, woof, it's a gone, it's better, it's reframed, we're supportive, but then there's another thing underneath. And a lot of times, one of the things that I discovered when I first started coaching was, in the beginning, I was a health coach. And some people were reaching out to me to lose weight, right? And so when I would start working with them on losing weight, and I have a particular client in mind right now as I'm saying this, she wanted to lose weight. But really what she really wanted was to love herself, right? And she didn't. She didn't love herself at all. And as a matter of fact, she really didn't like herself. She was in situations that were not good for her. And the more she stayed in that situation for fear of stepping away or fear of retribution, the more she stayed there, the less she liked herself. And so we didn't start with, okay, let's eat this, don't eat this, and everything. We started with, let's do some inner work on how you feel about yourself. We started there. And I'm telling you, we worked together for a year, and she had so many amazing changes in that year. And so I'm still in contact with her, and she's doing amazing well. It's been a few years since we worked together, but oh my gosh, she had so much shift in who she was that she started loving herself. She started exercising her boundaries. She started making more money. She started looking for a job that was different if it didn't feel like her job was supporting her. She started standing up to her husband at the time. She started having a better relationship with her daughter, a better relationship with her mother, all because we peeled a layer away, and then we'd peel another and we'd peel another. And so over that year, we peeled her onion and got so much done for her that we still get together on occasion. I'll reach out and say, hey, how are things going? If you need to talk, let's talk. And we might have a session. But she's really gotten to such an amazing place that doesn't happen very often now. And so it's amazing. So once you start peeling these onions away, everything changes, right? So let me get to this journal prompt. Copy. What is one old belief I'm ready to retire, right? And what empowering thought will I replace it with today? And remember, once you uncover one, you're going to want to come back and do it again and do it again and do it again so that you can get through that onion. And I forgot. Let me put this in the comments and stick it up here on the screen. Where'd it go? There it is. Let's see. There we go. What is one old belief I'm ready to retire? And what empowering thought will I replace it with today? And like I always suggest, write the affirmation and the journal prompt with the date, so that you can come back and see how things have changed for you. Because the things that we don't measure, we don't notice the change because it's such a small change. Like I've mentioned so many times before, a 1% change every single day creates exponential growth. It is amazing, but it's imperceptible in the moment. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and say, oh, I changed. No. But when you come back and look later, you're going to see it, right? So you put this in your journal, your notebook with the date, affirmation, and the journal prompt. And then I suggest that you take like 10 minutes to just sit in silence. That means no meditation. You could listen to some music if you wanted to, but no guided meditation or anything like that. You want to tap into your inner voice, not the voice of someone else. And one of the things that helps me sometimes, because in the beginning, especially when you try to tap into silence, you'll feel like you're being silent, and all of a sudden you're thinking, wait a minute, was that email that so-and-so sent me? When am I supposed to respond? You start going down that little rabbit hole, right? And that's okay. And as soon as you recognize it, you come back. So you focus on your breath. And then the thing that helps me stay in the moment so that my brain's not going everywhere, because I'll face it, it does that sometimes. I'll start focusing on sounds that I hear, and I'll label them. So it's like, I hear the ceiling fan, I hear the hum of my computer, I hear the weed eater outside. So you label sounds. And if you don't hear any sounds around you, most of the time we have the white noise, right, in our ears just a little bit, right? So it's never completely silent. So you can say, I recognize the white noise. Maybe at that point you can hear your breath. If nothing else, you can count your breaths. Just stay in the moment. And that doesn't mean you're rehearsing what your affirmation and journal prompt is. No, your subconscious mind already knows, and it's at work during the time that you're being silent. So just enjoy the silence. And then when your timer goes off, and I suggest you set a timer, because when you first begin this, a minute feels like 10 minutes. I'll be honest. But you want 10 minutes. That really helps you tap in more, right? So after the 10 minutes, you pick up your pen or your pencil and your paper, and you just write whatever shows up. Don't critique it. Don't judge it. Don't filter it. Just write down anything that shows up, even if it doesn't make a damn bit of sense, right? You do it. And what that's going to do is your subconscious mind can give you clues all the time that maybe it's kind of like when they talk about different military thing that it's in code, right? And they have to decipher it. Sometimes our subconscious mind is not feeling as safe as it would once you've been doing this for a while. So it may give you a code about something, and you may not understand it, and that's okay. You write it down anyway. Because when you come back and look again, you may understand it, you may never understand it. It's just getting it on the paper. And that's where the magic happens, right? So get it written down. And then once you've got it through and you found the old belief that you're ready to retire, and then what empowering thought will I replace it with today? And then once you get that empowering thought, you're going to want to put that on a piece of paper and put it somewhere to remind yourself that the disempowering thought was over here. No, you're not going to write that one down for your brain to see all the time. You're going to write down the empowering thought, right? The new thought, the thought that supports you and your dreams and your vision. You put that on a piece of paper and you put it anywhere you think you're going to be. So you could put it on your mirror with a chalk marker. You could put it on an index card, put it on a sticky note, put it on a piece of paper and stick it to your fridge. Put it somewhere that today that empowering thought is going to be utmost in your vision, wherever that is. Sometimes if I know I'm going to be in the car for a little bit, I'll take an index card and I'll make two of them. And I'll put one on one side of the visor and one on the other side of the visor. So whether I've got the visor up, the visor down, I can see that empowering thought. Do this to support yourself even more. Now, the thing is that we can do amazing things with our affirmations and our journal prompts and going through this process. But it's just like watching a tutorial on cooking, let's say. Somebody puts a tutorial up or they write the ingredients down. But to have them there standing with you cooking and teaching you how to do it is so much more powerful, right? So if you need a little bit more hand-holding with this, like I said, the lady that I worked with for a year, I could have given her notes and had her do it on her own, but she would not have had the same experience. So if you feel that you would like to have some more personalized help, I will include my Calendly link. You can go to my link tree. You can find the Calendly link there. It's on almost everything that I put up. But just reach out and have a call. You can either schedule a 15 or a 30-minute call, and it's completely free. There's no charge at all. And what I want to do is be able to listen to what you say and help you in some way on that call. And then if you choose to keep working with me from there, amazing. And if you don't, that's okay too. Maybe you'll get all the help you need from that one call. We'll see. A lot of people do. But I'm giving you a personalized invitation to reach out and just have that conversation. And I actually opened up a few extra conversations last week, I think it was. And so I'm doing that again this week. So just reach out, get the Calendly link, and let's have a conversation. You never know what you might learn in the process. All right, so let me see if I got any questions over here. Over here. Okay, so let me get back. Too many little windows to pop in and out of. All right, so I am so excited to be here for you and with you. So reach out, ask me questions in the comments, or definitely reach out and let's have our 15 or 30-minute conversation. And I will see you next Monday. Mwah. Love you guys.